emoji, press send. You can hit the react button again, choose an emoji, and type in a comment or question. You can also do that with the Q&A button. And also, please remember to share this out with all your friends and family. And share it with the people that don't like you. That might work too. So the show will be starting in just a few minutes, and I'll be right back. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. And we're going to get right into the intro of this show. So let's see what we got. Yeah, that's the intro music. Like I want to clap. Snap my fingers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Poetic People Fighting Racism, double PFR. I'm your host, Anthony Cordova, Tony C., the man about love. I'm also the co-host of I'm Right, I'm Right, where I have the privilege to be in a show with my beautiful, with my intelligent, with my incredibly gifted wife, Jill Cox Cordova, right here on Fireside. Here at Double PFR, we discuss racism and the caste system in the United States of America through poetry, through art, through music, using the voices of our souls, using the strength of our ancestors to heal the fractured country we live in and die in. Here at Double PFR, all souls are welcome. All people are welcome. Welcome to discuss the racism we live in. Come on in. We'll put our arms around you, providing a safe place for you, a home to protect you, a place where you're surrounded by hope, where you're surrounded by compassion, where you're surrounded by empathy, forgiveness, and love. Surrounded by love. Surrounded by so much love. I'd love for you to come in with me, to stand by me, to see what we can do to change this country, to change the people that live in this country. I welcome you to Double PFR with love, with so much love. Double PFR. Yes. Hey, welcome, 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 everyone. I am so happy that you are all here. And who do we have? We have Smokey in the audience. Hey, Smokey. Everyone, just a real quick thing. Smokey, that is in the audience, created the music that I'm going to do with the poem tonight. So, give him a good round of applause. He did it on his own. He created it. He composed it. He played it. He did everything. So I hope you like what he has done, which would be great. So also we have Tammy, and everyone knows I always shout out Tammy because I love her. She gives good energy, and I love feeling her presence. We have Greg, and if I'm correct, this is the Greg from Bermuda. Bermuda. We're going to try to get him on the show one day. Not this show, but I'm right. Him and his lovely wife. We have some other people. Well, one of my people left. We have Stefan. And we all know Stefan. Stefan has a great show called The Conversation. And then we have Marisa. I pronounced that wrong, didn't I? I don't want to pronounce it wrong too many times. Jill, what is it?
Marissa.
Marissa. That's what I said. No, it's not. And I don't know where Stacy went. Stacy is my buddy. She's gone. She came and left. I feel like brokenhearted. She's not here. She's gone. Okay, but that's okay. We'll try to get by without her tonight. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is we all know we just had Martin Luther King Day just a little while ago on the 16th, and today is the 21st. And I want to touch upon actually Dr. Bernice King, which is one of Dr. King's daughters. And she's amazing. She still does the work. She still, is trying to do everything she can to keep the fight going. But there's something she spoke about, and she was talking about, and she seemed a little perturbed, let's say, a little perturbed that once a year, and it's great that we have the MLK King Day holiday. It's fabulous that we have that, and that's really a big deal. But she was getting into, well, every year people talk about the speech and all the different speeches MLK made, and but she was was curious as why they only people tend to only do it on the 16th of January. That people aren't continuing uh, the civil rights fight. Now, me, I do. I got a show every other week. It's just fine. I'm not one of those people. But we're talking about everyone else. Um, so on ML King Day, everybody's, oh, he's so great. He's so great. But not many of us are doing the work. And I believe that if you live in this country and you care about people, not just black people, but anyone that's other. And in this country, anyone that's other is anyone that is of color. And then you have some people that may look white, but they may be Jewish. And they're still after the Jews. Jews are still being targeted. Synagogues are still being targeted by hateful people. So, in order for us to do anything about this, and I believe Dr. Bernice King was correct, this is an ongoing thing, not just one day out of the year. So, I encourage people to do something. And, I commend all of you for just being in this show, period. Because it's a tough subject. It's hard to talk about. That's why I also call everyone in the audience here an everyday activist, because you don't have to be here, especially on a Saturday night. You don't have to be here. So this is your part that you do. So when I say people are not doing what they're supposed to, I'm not talking about my audience. I'm talking about everybody else. Everybody else. So I thank all of you here. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I also am going to move on, and I want to thank Fireside again. And a good thing has happened. If all of you don't know yet, excuse me, you can now use your Android phone on Fireside. You can also, which I didn't find out till maybe yesterday, you can also just use your computer through your browser now, which is really, really cool. So I commend Fireside for that. And I do want to say there is a lot of companies, and most companies or platforms you go to and you're on, and they tout that they're the best thing ever. We're going to revolutionize everything. We're going to do this, do that, all of this, all the hype, all the hype. And I'm a person that always says, don't believe the hype. Everybody hypes up everything, and then it turns out it's not exactly true. But till this date, from the beginning, and we've been with Fireside for about a year, so far, every single thing Fireside said they were going to do, they have done. And they are saying they're going to do other things in the future. And I believe they will be, because so far, Fireside has kept their word on about not about everything they said about this platform. So I commend them. I commend Fallon for building this app. It's amazing, and I do believe that this platform will revolutionize how we view content and how we interact with content. So, me, bravo for Fireside. And again, I want to thank you, the audience, because you don't have to be here. I mean, you guys are great. You really do not have to be here. So, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Now I've said all the stuff I'm going to say. I'm about ready to get into the poem. But as you know, in my manuscript, I have divided Caucasian people of this country into two categories. One is the decent white lives, which are just decent people that happen to be white, that aren't racist, that aren't prejudiced, that don't see black people or anyone else of color as less than. So those are the good, decent people, decent white lives. Very simple. And then I've called the other ones the blue and white eyes. And I'll give a quick definition of that. The blue and white eyes are some of the people with white skin, the people that believe their European blood makes them pure, blue blood running through their veins, better and supreme than anyone with color in their skin. They believe the darker a person's skin, the more they become less than, seen through white eyes, seen through the haze of privileged minds, seen through the white gaze of white eyes. So that's the blue and white eyes. And you all know who they are. You have to live with them almost every day. All right. So now that we've straightened that out, we're going to get into the poem of the night, which is Justified Killings, which is also the name of this episode. And this is Smokey's music that we're going to play for this evening to accompany the poem. They kill us in any way they decide, because it's always justified. The blue and white eyes kill us in front of all eyes. They always say it's justified. They kill us for all eyes to see, but no one sees and no one knows. The blue and white eyes always blind their eyes by saying it's justified. It's justified. It's justified. It's justified beatings and justified shootings and justified chokings and justified drownings and justified hangings and justified lynchings. They're lying to themselves and to this country of lies by justifying the killing of black men, women, and children, and the burning down of any prosperous town black lives live in. Through the view of the blue and white eyes, all murders and all burnings of black lives in America are always justified by the blue and white eyes. They kill us any way they decide, because it's always Justified. Ooh, and that is it. That's a short one. And I know it's not a happy one. Um, but this is what has been happening to us for hundreds of years. This is what we go through. This is what we have to experience like every day. Every day, whether it's in the news, whether it happens to someone we know, we're experiencing this stuff all the time. You take George Floyd. We all know, because we've all seen the video of what happened to George Floyd. And that was like the first time the masses of people through this country and throughout the world realized what we were experiencing. But, like in the poem, they even tried to justify that after we all seen everything. We had Breonna Taylor shot in her bed. A no-knock warrant, shot in her bed, a good woman guilty of nothing but being black in America. We had Ahmaud Arbery jogging through a neighborhood. That's it. And those weren't cops. Those weren't cops that did that to him. They were just people that decided he shouldn't be there. So they would take the law into their own hands. We have Eric Garner, which was killed in Staten Island, was put in a chokehold and killed. And I believe it was for selling cigarettes. He died for selling cigarettes. It's just crazy to me. We had Freddie Gray in Baltimore. He was given a rough ride. And for those of you that don't know what a rough ride is in America, I've known about rough rides my whole life. Okay. And I'm old. So a rough ride is when they arrest a black person and they put them in the paddy wag, the paddy wagon, the van that they use to carry someone to jail. But they purposely don't secure him or her, and they literally give a rough ride. They sway, they hit every bump they can, they drive up curbs. So they want to beat him up using the van so he gets injured. The person that got arrested gets injured on the ride to jail. But the police can say, we never laid a hand on him, which is true. They didn't. They gave him a rough ride. And he died from that rough ride. Now, all of this, we're talking about justified. And, the poem was justified killings. So sometimes it's not the police that are doing this. Sometimes it's average Joe Blow citizen. We had Robert Aaron Long right here in Metro Atlanta that went to massage parlors and killed 6 Asian women. 6 Asian women. So the police knew he did it. They arrested him, found him pretty quickly. No problem. But the police statement, which some of you may not have heard because you don't live in this area, but the police statement was, he was just having a bad day. So when you have just what should be average citizens, average Caucasian citizens. They deem Asian people as less than. They deem black people as less than. But the police that are supposed to protect the citizens also treat us as less than. We're just less than. We're not worth much of anything. They don't care whether we die, whether we were roaches or not. It doesn't matter. That's how they perceive us, that we are worth less than anyone else. When you think about it, how crazy is that? How crazy is that? But when you have most of us of color, no matter where you have come from, some have that mentality, but not most. Because they've always been treated as less than. They know that maybe you shouldn't treat people as less than, especially when you're considered less than. Same with the church massacre in Charleston, South Carolina. They caught the perpetrator pretty quickly, a white man. But on the way to jail, they asked him whether he was hungry, and they went to McDonald's. Insane. Insane. So it's like the police cared more about the killer than they did about the people that were killed, the innocent people that were killed in a church. It's just crazy insane when you really, really think about it. Anyone that's less than. It's not only by color. You look at all of the gay clubs, the gay nightclubs where there's been massacres. It's like too many to remember because it happens so often. And most of the society in this country, they don't care. They don't care. Oh, well, they were gay people, we don't care. They're not that interested in those stories. But it's the same attitude that many of the police that's supposed to protect us, that's supposed to work for us, see us as less than. They won't protect us the way they should. Why should they risk their lives for us? This just came to me. I have a neighbor, and I live in a mix. Well, actually, I live in a mostly white neighborhood. Okay, there might be 2 other black families, maybe 1 Asian family, but it's predominantly white here. But I knew my neighbor pretty well. And he put me on the list for when they were out of town, if the alarm went off or something. And there's hardly any crime where I live. So he put me on the list. And one time when they were out of the country, the alarm on the house went off. It was just a malfunction. There was no break-in or anything. So the security company called me, and I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll be here when the police get here." So the alarm, it was the back door sensor that was tripped, and the wind can blow hard or something. This set it off. So I go to the front of the house, out by the curb, with a flashlight. And I just waited for the police. So I see the police coming down the street and I'm waving my flashlight. So, because why. So the cop comes up to me and he says, so it was the back door alarm that went off? I said, yeah. He said, "Did you go back and check it?" I said, "No." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because I didn't want to get shot by you." And he tells me, "Oh, that was smart." So if he saw me back there, the neighbor checking on the house, on the list with the security company, he at least he was honest. He knew that if he saw me back there, he was going to shoot me. Insane. This is where I live. Now, here's the thing. I made a conscious decision to move here. I didn't move here by accident. Me moving here was part of me being an everyday activist. I'm going to move someplace where the white people are going to see me. I am going to move someplace where I'm going to wave and smile just to say I'm here. Just to say I'm here. I I have another neighbor down the street, and I've lived here for like 20 years now. And you know how you know who lives in your neighborhood, and there's a man down the street that he's always doing yard work. His yard looks very nice, very nice. But I drive out the neighborhood, and this is Georgia. Everybody waves to everybody. I would drive down the street and on my way out of the neighborhood, and he'd look right at me, I'd look right at him, and I'd wave, and he'd turn his head. That went on for many, many, many years. And then I used to ride my bike through the neighborhood. Now, on my bike, I'm moving slow. I ride my bike like 5 feet away from where he's standing. And I would wave and say, "How you doing?" And he'd turn his head, act like he didn't see me. You know, this went on for years. And after about 19 years, he decided to wave back once. This is where I live. This is America. Welcome to America. But again, I moved here on purpose. On purpose. But there's something I can tell you about living where I live. Crime is low. Crime is very low. As a matter of fact, the crime rate in the town I live in probably has the lowest crime rate of any town in metro Atlanta. And check out, this is why it is. Back in about 1980, I think it was 1980, the mayor put in an ordinance stating that every household had to own a gun. Every household. And once other people found out about it, especially black people, they wouldn't come to this town I live in. And it's kind of still that way. Kind of still that way. Well, now, I want to know, do we have anybody in the audience that has anything to say? I would love to hear that. Maybe my producer.
I'm going to try something different tonight.
Ooh.
I'm going to invite every person in your audience to speak. And audience, the way to do that is just accept the invitation when you see it on your phone.
Well, and actually there is someone here I would love to speak, which is Gregory. Now, Gregory lives in Bermuda. Now, I'm wondering if in Bermuda he encounters any racism, and if so, what is it, and who does it come from? Because it could be, a status thing. I don't really know. And I think Greg is on the stage. Greg, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me onto your show. It's a pleasure. This is the second show that I've actually viewed, and certainly like to say hello to you and your lovely wife.
Well, thank you.
And hello.
And I have my wife sitting next to me also.
Wonderful. And for the audience, what is your wife's name?
My lovely wife is named Lana.
Lana, beautiful Lana. Okay. So, did you hear my question?
Yeah, I heard your question, and it's a very interesting question in terms of looking at some of the differences in terms of Bermuda versus the U.S. Um, the population of Bermuda is predominantly black,
Correct.
so we have a black government in place. Well, we would what we would call a black government in place, and but yet the it's that 80-20% rule, for instance, in anywhere. The fact that um, 20% of the wealth, or most of the wealth, is earned by 20% of the population, which happens to be predominantly white.
Wow.
Uh, so just to give you a little bit of makeup of Bermuda, we are essentially deemed as an offshore um, jurisdiction in terms of business. So there's a lot of money here in terms of international business, and that is where pretty much our main economic state. So all that's to say is that we don't experience the overt racism that you may experience in the U.S. Our racism is a little bit different. For instance, in terms of jobs, opportunities, getting a loan from the bank, those type of things. So it's a little bit different. We all we all kind of live together a little bit, I guess, a little bit better when I hear some of the issues, for instance, like that I heard in the States, like, for instance, the killings and so forth. It's a little bit different for us, but we still are affected by racism, but it's not overt.
Uh huh.
So I guess that's the kind of difference that we have here in Bermuda versus that you would experience in the United States.
Hmm.
I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of a
Oh, well,
little
yes.
bit
It
of
it it actually did answer my question, and I found that uh, you know almost wherever you are, whatever part of the country or the world you live in, um, someone, and I use that loosely, someone will find a reason or somehow to try to keep people of color down.
yeah,
Uh, South Africa, South is insane, and the population is predominantly black,
yes.
and we know what they did in South Africa. And then if I get back to this country, I have been to every state in this country except Alaska. I've been to every state. And some states I go to where there are no people of color, or let's say black people, there's no black people there. You'd be surprised that they're not racist against black people. They don't have prejudice against black people. But you know who they do hate? I would, everyone just venture a guess. You don't have to come up, but just think of who they hate when there's no black people around. Native Americans. Native Americans. They hate Native Americans where there are no black people. So I've noticed from going from state to state to state to state, whoever is the largest minority in that state, that's who they hate. That's who they hate. I've read a book where it stated that um, people, not only people, but animals that travel in packs, need to have someone to hate, to have someone to pick on, to be that scapegoat. And as long as they have that, their community, their society runs better, works better. So they studied a wolf pack, and the the wolf that they picked on all the time, um, while that wolf was there, the pack was fine. They had a leader of the pack, they had the middle wolves of the pack, and then they had the lowest in the pack was the wolf that they pick on. Maybe this wolf was smaller than the others. Maybe this wolf wasn't as aggressive as the others. That wolf is on the bottom. But when that wolf that's on the bottom dies or gets killed by some other animal who knows, the pack is in disarray. Oh my God, we don't have anybody to pick on. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Humans are like that. They are. I've seen the evidence. It doesn't matter. They're going to find somebody to hate. And in this country, it's anybody that's other. Anybody that's other. Barack Obama became the first black president of this country. And really, it just sparked everything to get worse. It did. We thought we were making progress, and they tried to tell us we was making progress. But everything got worse. The blue and white eyes start turning the notch up, turning the heat up, because we were getting too close. But if they say we are as dumb as we are, as they say we are, why would they be worried? Why would they care? We've made it where most of them are uneducated. And I'm not just saying that. That's done by redlining the neighborhoods that we have to live in, by the schools we have to go to. Generation after generation, all of the things they have taken from us. And I know you all are going to think I'm making this up, but I'm not. There are counties in Georgia, and you know how they do, a roadblock to check for, drunk drivers and all of that, or for whatever, they would set, and it still happens. I know this for a fact. They set a roadblock coming into black neighborhoods, black part of towns. And then, they're going to find something. And when they find something, the person gets arrested. And then they tell them, well, you can get out of jail, but you got to get somebody to post bond. So most of the black people in the community, they may have a small house somewhere or something. And they say, well, you can post bond and put your house up. Okay. They do it. And they get their loved one out of jail. Okay, cool. While the person is out on bail, they find something else to arrest that person on. They literally will follow that person around town to find something else on them, and they arrest them again. Now they're bonded, their bond is no good. Their bond is gone. There's nothing there. And they keep doing that to this individual until there's nothing left. And then they'll tell a real estate agent or somebody else in town, someone that has money, that, hey, their house is being foreclosed on. And then they go and buy the house. So they take what little a person has and they target Black people. And they know they can do it. They know that the people in that neighborhood don't have the money to hire a lawyer. So they use a public defender. Public defender is not going to defend them. So people lose whole communities, whole neighborhoods are just turned over. Sometimes they turn around and after they take the house from the person, they turn around and rent it back to them. It's just crazy. And it's still happening. Still happening. So again, we have a responsibility to make things better for us. When we see injustice, say something. Do something. Now, as you all know, I can talk forever. So, does anyone else in the audience have a question, a comment, anything? I would love to hear it. And probably the rest of the audience. So now, everybody's quiet tonight. So, since no one has anything else to say on this topic, and I know it's a rough topic, and again, I thank you for being here. This is not the end of the show. I want to change the subject right now to love. I want to change the subject to love because, as many of you know, and as I said in my intro, I'm Anthony Cordova, Tony C., the man about love. So I truly are trying to bring people together with love. I love everyone that's in the audience, even if I haven't met you yet. I have love for you. Because we are never going to understand each other until we start loving each other. We really all are connected. Now, that's easy for me to say, but we are. We all came from the same place. We all have arms and legs and heads and brains and all of that. We're all part of each other. So let's love a little bit. Let's love a lot of bit, actually. And I'm not talking about just Black people love Black people. We need to love everyone. And I say this often. I even love or have love for the people that hate me. For the people I know hate me. Because how can I ever have a conversation with them if I hate them too? I may dislike them. I might not like what they do, what they say. Things may make me angry, but I still don't hate them. I still have some kind of love for them. And I have spoken and known people that in the beginning, they just hated me because I was black. I was a person of color. They just automatically hated me. They didn't even know me. But even when I sway them a little bit, and many of you probably know this is what I hear. Wow, you're really okay. Why? Why am I okay? Why I shouldn't be okay? Well, I never met a black person like you. Really? What type of black people have you been meeting? And then they'll stop and they may stutter and I don't get an answer. But what I do know, before they knew me, they would never stop and stutter and think about what they're going to say before they say it. Because they say things automatically because they've done that their whole lives. Their parents have done that their whole lives. Their grandparents have done that their whole lives. And I know it's a little insane for me to say, I love everybody. I just love everybody. I want to have love for everybody. Call me crazy. It's okay. I can take it. But I truly do. I truly do. If you have seen Jill and I's show, I'm Right, um, you know, that show is not as serious as this one. But you'll know I treat everybody the same on that show. Everybody. And really, after we do our show, I'm Right, I feel great. I just feel great because I want to interact with people. I want people to see that, look, we're not so different. I don't care what color you are. I care about how we treat each other. We're not that different. So just everybody in the audience, try to spread some love. However you do it. There's certain people here in the audience, I know they do that. I know for a fact that's what they do. There's some people in the audience that do that and never even want to bring any attention to themselves that that's what they do. But it's still good works. It's spreading love. It's spreading some kindness. It's helping someone else and not expecting anything back. Just do something nice for somebody. And by the way, this is one of my things. When I say do something nice for someone, that deal with you're in the grocery store and the person behind you might pay for your groceries to do a nice thing. Yeah, on the surface that's really good. But then they encourage the person behind that person to do the same thing. And they're doing it again and again and again. And it's guilting everyone into paying for someone else's groceries. That's not that kind. What if they get to a person that can't afford to pay for their own groceries? Paying for somebody's groceries that makes $150,000 a year ain't no big deal. It's not. It's not. That's just a waste. It's just a waste. Do something for real. Do something for someone that doesn't have any place to sleep. Do that. And don't encourage them to do that for someone else because they can't. Do something real. Whew. I'm talking about love, and I still got serious. Oh, I need to lighten that up. I need to lighten that up. Oh boy, that's been interesting. Well, producer, has anybody have any comments? Is there any comments or questions from anyone else? And Greg, thanks for coming to the stage. I'm so happy the words you contributed because that means a lot to me because there's racism everywhere. And the people that inflict the racism seem to kind of always look the same. What's up with that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Greg has a story he would like to share.
Oh, bring it on. I'd love to hear it.
Hey, since you called me out, I guess I'm obliged to come back to you again. Hey, it's actually it was very interesting, that little story about you and your neighbor and how you handled that situation. I think that's kind of on the same kind of theme as showing love to someone who may not show it back to you. But to give another little story, I had to spend some time in south of England. I was out in school out there in a very rural area in school, and there was nothing but farmlands and kind of backcountry back towns. And every weekend, a group of us from the school, and the school was actually predominantly international students from all over the world, from Africa, from Bermuda, through the Caribbean, and so forth. And we decided to every weekend go out and visit some of the rural towns. So this one weekend, we decided to go to this bar, and we popped into the bar, and it was nothing but white people in there, and we got a kind of that those kind of weird looks, but we just moseyed in up to the bar, and while I was at the bar, there was a couple there, and I bought them a drink, and they bought me a drink, and I started talking to them, and it seemed like they latched onto every single word that I was saying, and we just had a normal conversation. And after a few drinks, and we started laughing and having a great time and so forth. At the end of the night, they said to me, you know something? This was a really great experience for them because this is the first time they had talked to a black person, and they admitted to me they had a certain perception about black people from what they had seen on TV and so forth. And they said the same thing that you actually said. You know something? You're no different from us. And they thanked me for that experience because I kind of brought them out of, I guess, a state of ignorance. I would put it that. I think a lot of the racism that we have, and I wouldn't say all of it, but I think a significant amount of it is based upon ignorance, not taking the time out to understand your fellow man, your fellow black person, and talk to them and understand them. And I think us doing the same thing by getting out there and not necessarily, I guess, shielding ourselves from that, but showing the love is one of those things that kind of gets us on the same page. So, like I said, at the end of the night, we were good friends, and they said, and they thanked me for that experience. And I think the more we do that, I think that's I guess that kind of chops that racism block down.
Yeah, I agree. Um, like I haven't been all over the world. I have been out of the country, but I haven't been all over the world, but um, but I've been all over this country many times. I mean, many, many, many times. And sometimes I would, if I get to a certain town, I might, go out to a bar. I might go anywhere. I might go to a county fair. And I always met people. And the same kind of story you just told, I have had many of those experiences. And it's funny, it's almost like word for word. They kind of say the same thing. A lot of people, I never met a black person before. All I knew is what I've seen on TV. That's it. And then, you'll go someplace else. Like I think I was out in Wyoming, and a lot of people never saw a black person, period, ever. But they didn't believe the stereotypes that they saw on TVs and movies. And I don't know why. I didn't ask them, but they didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. But then I have been in, let me see, Wisconsin. And I went to this grocery store in Wisconsin. And I'm coming, and I was paying for my stuff, and I saw there was this little white boy and his mother, and the little boy, he just kept staring at me and staring at me and staring at me. And I paid for my stuff, and they were like right behind me. I paid for my food, whatever I was buying, and I started walking out. This little boy followed me. He followed me. He followed me all the way out to my vehicle before his mother knew he was gone. He was just so amazed because he never saw a person that looked like me before. He was like captivated. It's just insane. So we really do have to learn how to love each other and see each other and talk to each other. And I just want to say hi to Sonia, just popped in the audience.
Also say hi to Melissa. She's been here for a while.
Oh, hi, Melissa. Sorry I missed you there. So sorry, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy you're here, and I love you too. And Sonia, in your show from last week, I was there. You asked me to speak, but I had just got ready to fall asleep. I had already I didn't know, because I sent you a message that, hey, I have to go to bed. I got to get up at 4 a.m. And I sent you a message. Oh, I can't come to stage, because I took my sleep aid. I'm falling asleep. So I'm waiting. And soon things are changing where I will be in your show live. Maybe not this week, but the following week, I'll be in your show live. I love all you do, and keep it up.
She wrote, next time.
Yes, next time. Yes, love, Sonia. All right. Well, I think it's just about time for me to be wrapping this up. And I do want to thank everyone for coming. And what else? I've got something to say. What do I have to say? I have to say again, thank you everybody for coming here. Thank you for being everyday activists, for coming here. You are doing your part to show you want to change things in the world. Also, the song you hear playing now is called Choral, and it's by 29 Beats. And as I said earlier, the song I played during my poem, that was by Smokey. Thanks, Smokey. I appreciate it. I was waiting for a chance to get to use that one. Also, my next show is on February 4th, and that episode is going to be called Don't Get in This Line. And I won't even say what that poem's going to be about, but that's the name of the show. And let's see, have I got anything else? My producer, am I forgetting anything?
call to action?
Call to action. Well, my call to action is usually the same, which is one, keep being an everyday activist. Also, show some love. Just keep showing some love. You know, get the hate out of you, get the anger out of you, get when you're having a bad day, don't take it out on someone else. Just show some love. And bring some more people to this audience the next time, because I'd love to talk to them, and I love talking to all of you. Till the next time, I believe I'm out. I'm gonna turn off the video, but I'm still here. But again, thank you so much. I love you all. I love every one of you. And thank you so much for coming tonight. And I will catch you the next time.